He's been a volunteer at Seva Free and Confidential Counseling Center since 10 years and actively is involved in many counseling and outreach activities. Currently, he is director of Seva. Thank you, sir. We welcome you once again. Thank you for gracing this occasion and being agreed to be speaker of this particular session. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, can I start?
Yes, sir. Welcome, sir. Welcome. You can start, sir.
Yeah. Good evening. I'm just going to turn off the camera after some time. So at least if you see me, you know who you're talking to. You know who is talking to you guys. Yeah, you had a very interesting 4-day session on augmented and virtual reality. And the topic which is going to be discussed now, which I'm going to share, which I'm going to discuss with you guys, is on stress management. It is totally unrelated. I don't know why a non-technical topic was squeezed in. Was it part of the requirement? Faculty development? Was it part of the requirement that you had a non-technical session?
Yes, sir. It is the mandate.
Ah, okay. So that is why I was just thinking, you know, why suddenly, maybe this is also a good change from all technical sessions, I would say. I will try to make my session as interesting as possible. I'll try to make it as interactive, which means I would also ask you a couple of things and expect you to, you know, reply in the chat window. By the way, this session may not be technical, but it's going to be very, very informative. And there will be a lot of takeaways you will have at the end of 1.5 hours, because I would also encourage questions after the session is over, because that way we make it more interactive. Yeah, so I'm going to turn my video off. Let me turn it off, and I'm going to share a PPT. Yeah, by the way, I am Rajendra Tapadia, an alumni of CBIT. I passed out in 1985, went on to do I worked in CBIT as a faculty for a year. 86, I went on to do my master's in US, came back in 89, and then started my own company called Genesis Computers, where we were into IT technical training and software development. I also do a lot of trainings for IT companies, corporate training. So I have about 30 plus years of teaching experience, software development, and I'm very passionate about counseling. So I'm a volunteer at Seva, which is an NGO based out of Hyderabad, Seva Free and Confidential Counseling Center. So we basically help people with any kind of emotional support, be it relationship issue, be it some stress, be it anxiety, or be it your career, or you just want to come and talk to someone, and we are available. So Seva is an NGO which is about 26 years old in Hyderabad, based out of Padmarav Nagar. Yeah, so how do I turn this guy off? Great. Turn the video off. And I need to share the screen. Present now. Your entire screen. Okay. Share. Great. Yeah, are you all able to see the screen?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Great. So the topic which I'm going to share with you and discuss is stress management. Now, I wouldn't say that we are always under stress or everybody is under stress. Nor is it true that there is no one who does not have stress. You know, stress is part of life. Now the question is, how do you look at stress? Are you able to manage it? Do you have the coping abilities? Or there are some situations, there are some life events. Life throws surprises at us, and sometimes it becomes unmanageable. Or I would put it this way, some of us have great coping skills, and some of us don't have good coping skills, which is why even the smallest of stress becomes unmanageable And those of us who have great coping skills can look at any amount of stress and we say, yeah, it's difficult, but it's not something I cannot manage. My life has thrown a lot of surprises. I am little, I'm like, I have to handle it. I might need some help. I will look at resources who can help me. But at the end of it, I will either manage it or I will learn to live with it. Not every stress you can manage. Like, if there's a death in the family, there's a lot of stress, there's a lot of grief. Over a period of time, we learn to, live with it. We learn to accept it and continue to live with it. So the question is, do you manage it or do you have the skills to accept it and live with it? So Seva is an organization which is 26 years old, based out of Hyderabad, Padmaranagar, and we provide emotional counseling to anyone who feels lonely, helpless, hopeless, worthless, or suicidal. And I have been with Seva for about 11 plus years, and I'm currently the director. Now, let's talk about stress with the new normal, the pandemic, COVID, which began way back in March. So it's like close to, I think, 7 months we have lived with it. And now that has become the new way of living. But what has that done? It has created a lot of anxiety. It has created a lot of stress in a lot of people. Just a simple example, work, study from home. Just imagine a family of 4, husband, wife, 2 children. Both the children are school going. One of them is, let's say, 4th class and the other is in 8th class. The husband is working in an IT company. The wife is working in an IT company, or both could be professors in a college, whatever, but both are working. Now you have your calls to take. You have your children who have to attend to those online classes. Now just imagine how things could be in the morning from, typically from 9 to 1:30 when there are classes for the children. You have a two-bedroom apartment. Everybody needs internet. At times what happens? The net goes down or the computer goes down. The child is not able to attend this class. So there's a attention which the parents have to give. They are not able to focus on the call or work. So all this was something which was not planned, but something which we have to accept and live with. And obviously, there is that amount of stress. Every day we have, we just keep praying, hope there is good net connectivity. In fact, when I take this session now for an hour and a half, I am also hoping that we don't have any internet problem, because if I have an internet problem, the whole thing will go for a toss. So there's nothing anybody can do. So that is, causing stress. The question is, what do we do? Can we do anything about it? No. The best we can do is maybe have a backup connection, maybe have one Geo connection, one ATAL connection, one ACT connection, and hope that even if one is down, the other 2 networks work properly. So that's the backup plan which we have. Social isolation. When COVID started, there were all this fear, don't meet people, there is this virus and we don't know what it is like. People are dying and all that. But what has that resulted in? People are not talking to each other. People are so fearful of your neighbors. People are fearful about anybody coming to your home. You are not welcoming people. So there's so much of fear, so much of uncertainty. What is really required is not social isolation, but physical distancing. In fact, I feel, at least I have been practicing, and I am sane today only because of that, which is I talk to more people these days. I talk to more family. I talk to more friends. I talk to more neighbors. I talk to more people in the society, ensuring that I maintain proper physical distancing. Now, there is a lot of us know people who have lost jobs, people who are in the IT industry, people who are in the travel and the entertainment industry. Talk to a travel agent and he will say, there is no business for 8 months. I have my staff who I could support for the first few months, but now that is becoming difficult. I don't know when it will resume. So many have shut shop. Entertainment industry, you talk about, theaters, you talk about resorts, you talk about all of them. They are slowly opening up, but there have been a lot of business loss for all of them. Relationship issues. I'll give you a very common example. Of late, we have been having a lot of people who come to Seva and they say, sir, you know what? I'm not used to seeing my spouse 24/7. At least earlier, he would go to work, which means he had his own time, and I knew I had 10 hours for myself. But now, even that option is gone, sir. What do we do? So people are, so very uncomfortable sometimes being with their own spouses or children all the time, and that is causing friction because expectations, demands increase as a result of it. Now, trust issues, like I was talking about, you don't trust your neighbor. You don't want him to come to your house. You think he is COVID positive. You just don't want people like that. You must have read stories where parents, the children don't allow their parents who are hospitalized to come home, or the apartment complex they live in is stigmatizing people who are COVID positive, and they say, no, no, you don't have to come. There's so much of stigma attached to this, and that is causing a lot of issues. And there may be many more. I'm just giving you possible causes of stress because of the pandemic. I'm sure each of you would have your own experience, good and bad. In fact, there are a lot of positives about the pandemic. It has given us enough time to spend with the family. It has given us more insight into what is really required. Our needs have reduced. We have been more accepting of things which we thought earlier could not be done. So now we know we can live like this. It's not a big deal, which was really unheard of before. Yeah, am I clear so far? Yeah, so one of you please respond so that I know we have not got disconnected.
Yes,
Yeah, we have not got disconnected. Nothing else. Yeah. Yeah. The first.
You are loud and clear, sir.
Thank you, sir. The first thing to note now is that it is completely normal to be expecting. So when people ask me, sir, I'm feeling anxious, I'm feeling stressed, I would say, you're not alone. We are all together in this journey. So when you tell people that they are not alone and we are all together in this journey, they then feel that, yeah, which means it is something which we all have to manage together. It is something which only I am not experiencing, so there is nothing wrong with me. So when we say we are all together in this, it means it is a fact which everybody is going through. So I know if you're also experiencing this and I am also experiencing, and if I'm not able to cope up, I can always talk to you and get words of comfort. So that's a very important thing to understand, that we are not alone. Everybody is experiencing. The question is the level of experience. Some are very fearful, some are not that very fearful, which is the only difference. But all of us have this uncertainty and stress because we just don't know how things are. Now, accepting what you feel is an important step to build resilience, the ability to fight back. So that is one of the biggest challenge, which is acceptance. If you continue to remain in a denial mode, many of the problems which you can solve would never get solved. So when you accept, yeah, this is the way, so I'm going to now find a solution on how I should manage the new normal. And the simple act of naming your emotion benefits us. Like sometimes you can say what you are feeling. There is no point in hiding your emotions. Your emotion could be an emotion of happiness, or it could be feeling of sadness, feeling of, disgust, feeling of fear, feeling of uncertainty, feeling of whatever. When you observe yourself, when you live in the present, you will be able to understand what type of feelings you go through. If I ask you currently, how are you feeling? Can can few of you tell me how you are feeling? How are you feeling currently at this point of time? Yeah. Hello?
Feeling good and great because we are having a session which gives motivation,
Okay.
and we
What
are
else?
having a speaker who is having hands-on experience in handling issues,
Okay.
and a lot of positivity and positive thoughts around. So feeling great.
Feeling good. Okay. Anybody else? Okay. So basically, I'm sure many of you would be feeling, but what is important is you should be able to name your feeling. By the way, I will share this PPT so you don't have to make notes, anything. Just listen to me and I'll share with the coordinator and she can share with all of you. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Great. Yeah. So that way you just focus on your feelings and what we are talking rather than making notes. Yeah. Okay. So what we are saying is in this pandemic, we are going through a lot of new experiences. We are having a range of feelings, emotions. We are not alone. And we are also very hopeful that things will only get better or we will be able to accept it and live with it. Even if things don't get better, the level of fear would anyway go down. And over a period of time, all of us have to accept and live. Life will move on anyway. But what is important? We need to take proper precautions. We don't need to fear, but obviously we have to be careful. We shouldn't lose our guard, which means we have to maintain that social physical distancing. We need to wash our hands regularly, avoid crowds if you can, sanitize, and also remember this is not an end, it's just a bend in our life. Okay? And when you get over this, maybe next year, sometime in mid 21, you will probably think the worst is all behind us and everything which will happen will only be better because nothing can be bad than what we experience and nothing can be more challenging than what we went through, right? Because you have experienced it. See, why are we feeling this way? Because this is the first time we are experiencing it. But if this continues every second and third year, we would have become more, stronger. And we know, I think it's not to fear. Last time also, if I feared for 1 year, I wasted 1 year in fear. Why should I fear? Nothing is going to happen. Okay. Now, I'll give a very simple example. Okay. Let's say this meeting was at 4 o'clock for me, and for some reason, I could not attend. So what would I tell the coordinator? I have two options. One, I can tell the coordinator, look, at 1:30 in the afternoon, I was climbing down the stairs, I fell down, and I had a fracture. Okay, I can give that excuse to the coordinator. Or I can tell the coordinator, look, I'm feeling very depressed today. I feel depressed and I don't think I can take this session. There are two excuses I can give. One, I fell down, broke my leg, fractured, or I am feeling depressed and I cannot take this session. I am in depression. Of the two, the truth is the second one. I repeat, the truth is I'm feeling depressed. I can't take the session. If I had these two excuses, or if we all had these two types of excuses, which one do you think, if we tell, will be more accepted by someone? Can you tell me? If I had these two excuses, one, the truth, which is feeling depressed, and the other, a cooked up leg fracture. If I tell this, one of the two, which one do you think will be more accepted, and which one do you think will gain more sympathy? Yeah, guys, tell me.
The first one will gain more sympathy,
The
sir.
first one is leg fracture.
Actually, that will gain more sympathy, though that is not true.
Yeah, I know. Correct. Perfect. The reason is, if you tell someone you're depressed, they'll say, what is depression? Why are you depressed? You have a nice house, you have a nice wife, you have a nice job. What is there for you to be depressed? They don't understand. But if you tell, I fell down. Oh, was there water? Was there soap water? They'll question me and they'll say, oh, sorry. Yeah, it's okay. Maybe, you'll get better in 6 weeks. Things like that. That is the real truth we all go through. People don't understand what is mental health. If you tell someone, I'm feeling anxious, I'm feeling stressed, I think I'm having hallucinations, I'm seeing people, I'm seeing things. He'll say, nah, this guy must be mad. But if you say, I am diabetic, I have thyroid problem, I broke my leg, they all can relate because those are all physical experiences we go through. So my topic is on stress, which is related to mental health. Although stress has physical ramifications. So what is mental health? So that was a reminder for me, leg fracture versus depression. So what is mental health? One, peace within oneself and harmony with others. Adjustment with self, others, and the environment. Because we are human beings, we cannot live in vacuum. We are social animals. We need to interact and adjust with ourselves, with our family, with our neighbors, with our society, the workplace. We have to. And the WHO defines mental health as the capacity in an individual to form harmonious relationships with others and to participate in or contribute constructively to the changes in the social environment. Most of us are mentally healthy. So when we talk about health, it is not just the physical health, but we are talking about the mental health. And many of us don't appreciate or don't understand people who are going through this. Even in a family, if somebody is not behaving the way he is to behave, don't ignore. Please pay attention. Please empathize with them and see if you can help them in some way. What do you observe? If they have been very bubbly people and they're very silent for a week, 10 days, they don't eat, they go into a shell, whatever was interesting to them, they don't feel that interesting, they don't communicate with people, they are disinterested in life, then please don't ignore those signs. You need to ask them with a lot of empathy, with a lot of genuine care. Ask them, how are they feeling? A simple act like asking someone how are they feeling will bring a big change in that person. If you walk on the road, you see a friend who is putting his head down and walking. He's not like that. He's like a very confident guy who walks with his head up, very confident, chest forward, head up, and suddenly you see him stooping down and feeling of sadness on the face. Don't ignore, just ask him how is he feeling, or ask him things like, hey, you don't look yourself today, is something wrong? Instead of asking is something wrong, you can ask them, is everything all right? And when you ask them, is everything all right, and if he knows you are genuinely concerned and interested in him or her, he will say, no, Tapadia, you know what? I'm going through something. And if you tell him, okay, I don't want to name anybody, but if you say, yeah, okay, do you want to talk about it? I'm available. I have time for you. He'll say, sure, you have time now. And if you say, yes, I have time, he will tell you what is bothering him. Believe me, he will tell you. Or he will say, look, I don't have time now, but afternoon between 3 and 5, I am free. And if you are willing to, and if you would like to talk to me, please feel free to call me. I'm available. Just that comforting word to someone that you are available for them makes a big, big difference. They don't feel they're alone. They don't feel they're lonely. They know that there is someone who can listen to them. What we need are people who can listen to you. With this double income concept where spouses are both working, children come back and they don't have anyone at home. What do? They want to share what happened in the school. They want to tell about what was good or bad in the school. They want to let it out. But we as parents don't have time for them. And when we come back from work, we again get down to work. The wife would be busy cooking. The husband would be watching some TV, or he'll have some drinks with his friends. And what does the child do? He has no one he can share with. So earlier, we had this concept of joint family where we had uncles and aunts. So if something was bothering me, I could always go and talk to one of my cousins very casually, or talk to one of my uncles, or talk to one of my aunts, or somebody would notice and ask, how are you doing? And then I would share what I was feeling and I would let it out of my system. So one of the very important things in this mental health is don't keep too many things bottled up. It is important you share. When you share, you're not looking for a solution. Yes, if you can, wonderful. But when you share, what happens is you let it off, which means you feel so much lighter and catharsis happens. Mental health is something many of us do not appreciate and cannot recognize, but is very, very important for the well-being of every individual. Yeah. So now I'm going to get into another very interesting slide, and we go through this every moment of our life. The thoughts, the feelings, and the behavior. Now look at this triad. We think through our head, we feel through our heart, and then action or the behavior. So whenever life throws some challenges, the activating event, a situation, a circumstance, life keeps throwing such experiences to us. So in our mind, based on our belief system, based on our attitude, based on our past experiences, based on the opinion we form, based on the views, based on the mental images, all this is so ingrained in us. We are so judgmental so many times. So based on all that, feelings develop as a result of the thought. And based on the feelings, the action which we take is the behavior. So we go through this all the time. Some thought comes in your mind. Based on that thought, you experience some feeling. And as a result of that, you have the behavior. Okay. Are we there? Is that slide clear so far?
Yes, sir.
Great. So I'm going to give you an example. You see here, there's a dog example. So let's go through that. Let me hide this guy. Yeah. So let's say my past beliefs, my past experiences tell me I don't like dogs. I don't like dogs. So I'm walking on the street and I see this dog, which is a Labrador. So the first thought which comes to my mind based on my past beliefs, experiences, and the mental image which I form is, oh, the dog is going to bite me. That's the thought which comes in my mind. The dog is going to bite me. As a result of that thought which comes in my mind, the feelings I experience are fear. I fear. I get very fearful. And as a result of that feeling, I fear. I get, I'm like, don't know what to do. I'm very, very fearful. My body changes, my physical appearances change. And as a result of that, the action which I take is I run away. So I see a dog, because of my past experiences, beliefs that Labradors are very, very ferocious. The feeling, the thought which comes in, what if the dog bites me? The feeling is the feeling of fear, and the action which I take is run away. Okay? This is one experience. Now, the same dog. Now, I'll give another experience. I love pets. I love pets, especially dogs and cats. So I see a dog, which is a Labrador, and because of my beliefs and my past experience in my childhood, I had a pet. What thought comes to my mind? I feel very, I say, yeah, great. I can now go and play with that lab. So the thought is, I can now go and play with that Labrador. As a result of that, the feeling which I experience is feeling of joy. I feel feeling of happiness, feeling of excitement. And the action which I take is I go closer to that lab. I, pet that lab. I fondle it. I play with it, and all of that. Now you see the same situation, which is a dog on the road, is resulting in two different behavior based on our thoughts and our feeling. Isn't that what we go through every day in our life? I go on the road and I see there's a traffic jam. One person's thought can be, oh, I'm getting late for the meeting. He gets very anxious. He gets stressed. He'll start cursing the Hyderabad traffic. He'll start cursing the Hyderabad police every day. What does the other person do? The other person says, what can I do about it? There's nothing I can do about it. So best is, great. I think I have more time to enjoy my music, which I was listening to. So can you do anything about it? Life throws a lot of situations. It is up to us, based on our thoughts, what feelings and what behavior we take. So every time a thought comes, be very mindful about it and see whether the thought is a negative thought or a positive thought. The negative thoughts can create a lot of stress, and you have to be watchful. And that is something we all have to be doing mindfully every time. Yeah? Can I continue? Is this example clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So again, the same, the thoughts, feeling, and behavior. Now, different thoughts. He is angry with me. He's seeing someone else. He wants to leave me. Something terrible has happened to him. He never calls when he says he will. He doesn't love me. I'm not good enough for him. No one likes me. I'm going to be lonely forever. I think of these six, many of us would have experienced these kinds of thoughts. I'm not asking anyone here, but all of us would have. You call you're dating your girlfriend. You call your girlfriend. She doesn't answer. You call 10 times. She doesn't answer. Then you get annoyed. I say, am I not important? Why is she not answering my call? All such negative thoughts keep coming in your mind. For all you know, the problem could have been the phone was left at home and she's gone to work. It's as simple an answer. But we get into this thoughts and thoughts and thoughts. And believe me, most of the thoughts which we get into happen to be negative. And when such negative thoughts come in, we obviously have feelings which are not very good. We feel sad, we feel anxious, we feel angry, we feel depressed, we can't eat, we feel hopeless. All those negative feelings come. When those thoughts result in such negative feelings, our behavior obviously is going to be different. We cry, we go to bed in despair, we throw things, we slam the door, we get restless, and all those things happen. Guys, are we not with this many times? Are you able to relate? At least some of you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Great. Now, very, very interesting slide. Again, talks about mental health here. A mind that is full, can it take any more? Now look at this. There's a kettle, there's a coffee cup. You're pouring coffee or whatever into that cup, and there's only so much you can pour into it because the cup is full. So what do? You drink that coffee from that cup, make it empty so that you can pour more. Or you get another empty cup and pour more. Now, which means a mind that is full, can it take any more? When life throws such situations at us, like I said, many of us have the coping ability. So we are able to handle it, or we accept it and we continue. So it goes on, life goes on. But there are some people who are the worrying type. For them, every small event is a stressful event. So over a period of time, they keep thinking about it, and their mind is cluttered with such thoughts. So when their mind is cluttered with such thoughts, it is clouded with such emotions, which means any other life event which is thrown at them, they are not able to cope up because they are already full of such stresses. So wouldn't it be better if they can let go some of those stresses, empty it, so that when new life stresses come, when new life events are thrown, they're able to handle it. So what do they need to do? They need to talk to someone who can understand them. And many a time, just talking to someone, sharing what you're feeling is wonderful. You know, you just let it off. So when you let it off, you get unburdened. So many times we are so stressed because, it's like, I want to tell my parents I've done something wrong, but I keep bottled up. And then I, get so stressed. The day I tell them about it, I feel so much better. They may shout, they may scream, they may not accept it, they may label me, but I would feel so much better than I told them that about. We experience this many a time. So what I'm basically going to share with you is a very interesting example. There was a wise man who conducted a seminar on how to pursue happiness. Okay. So there were a lot of people, the topic was interesting, how to pursue happiness. So all those people who thought they were sad in their life, they went to attend the seminar. The seminar hall had about 700 people attending. So the wise man entered the room and he shared a very funny joke with the crowd. The crowd laughed, laughed aloud. They were very happy with the joke, they laughed. After about 10 minutes, the wise man told them the same joke. This time, only a few of them smiled. He continued with his talk, and again after 5 minutes, the wise man repeated the same joke. And this time, nobody laughed and everybody was looking at each other. I mean, what has happened to this wise man? We came here to listen to how to pursue happiness, and this guy is telling us the same joke repeatedly. They feel, annoyed and all of that. The wise man then stood up, looked at them for some time, and then he said, if you cannot laugh at the same joke over and over, why do you want to cry over the same problem over and over? So when the wise man made this statement that if you cannot laugh at the same joke over and over, why do you want to cry over the same problem over and over? Everybody in the audience understood what the wise man wanted to convey. The way to pursue happiness is not to keep worrying about the same problem over and over. Instead, whenever you have a problem, there is no point stressing over that problem. In fact, taking stress causes more harm. Instead, acknowledge the problem, accept it, and try to find a way to solve it. And if you cannot find a way to solve it, you continue to live with it, but accept it and move on. Yeah, is that clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yep. So that is what it is. Now let me tell you, earlier days when we had the joint family, I'll give a very simple example. There is this boy Rahul, who is about 7 years old. He is in class grade 2. He comes from school home and tells his father, Appa, there is this boy Srinivas in my class who stole my compass box and broke all the pencils. Rahul tells his father, Appa, that Srinivas took the compass box and broke all the pencils. And Rahul is quite, Rahul tells this to the father. The father, who's come back from work, is attending some emails, and he tells Rahul, "Hey, don't worry. Tomorrow I'll get you a good, better pencil box," and tells him, "Okay, now go to sleep." Okay. Was the father justified in his answer? Yes, I'm asking you this question. Was the father justified in answering this way to the son? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, okay, great. Now let's listen to the second part of the story. This Rahul doesn't feel happy about it, so he goes to his grandfather and he says, "Tata, Srinivas took the compass box and broke the pencils." What does the grandfather do? The grandfather makes him sit on his lap and he tells Rahul, "Rahul, you must be feeling very sad, na? That compass box was very, very precious to you. It was given by your cousin sister, who you love very much. So you are very, very sad that how can he do that and break the pencils? They mean so much to me." That is what the grandfather tells Rahul. And then the grandfather tells him, "Yeah, you know what we'll do, Rahul? Tomorrow I'll come to the school with you, and then we'll talk to the class teacher and we will tell the class teacher to punish Srinivas. Huh? Do you think, is this okay?" He's asking for confirmation from Rahul. So Rahul has a smile on his face and he says, yeah. So now you have two responses to the same problem of Rahul. Which one do you think is more effective with respect to the emotions of Rahul?
The second one.
Second one. What is the grandfather doing? The grandfather is understanding the emotions, the feelings Rahul is going through and trying to address Rahul at the feeling level and not at the solution level. So when we as counselors in Seva talk to people, we are not there to give any solutions to anybody. The way our counseling works is we listen to people, let catharsis happen. Then we empathize with them. We have very active listening, empathy. And when all this happens, the mind which was full is now empty. Emotions are not, they're able to rationalize. We don't give any solutions. Even if we have to give solution, we'll ask them, "Do you think this will work? Do you think this will work for you? Have you tried this?" So we only give options. And then when we throw such options, the caller who comes to us says, "Oh yeah, very nice. I never thought about it." And suddenly you can see there's a spark in that person that, "Oh, my mind was so clouded, I was not even able to think of options which are coming from someone." So when we tell them that these are the options, the caller would say, yeah, this will work. And when you own the option, you will work on it. If I tell you to do this, Nobody will do. But if you feel like doing it, you will do it better. So what the grandfather was doing is giving this child an option, saying, would coming to the school and talking to the class teacher work? If it did not work, Rahul would say, do something else, So that is what is very, very important. When people come to us, it is important we handle their emotions first. Problem solution can anyway happen, and the solution to the problem is better with the person who's experiencing, not outsiders, because they know what can work for them, what cannot work. What we only have to give are options which we think are available, and let them choose or let them decide to go for what works for them. So everybody can cope with the problem. Now, this is a very interesting, model, the seesaw model, a typical seesaw, which we play with when we go to the garden or we see children play. So now if you look at the seesaw, there is this fulcrum here, the ends of the seesaw. When the coping skills are low, there's one end of the seesaw which is at the bottom. The coping skills are low. We find the other end of the seesaw is high, which is the severity of the problem is high. Now you turn the seesaw other way around. If the coping skills are high, which is here, then the problem will seem lot lesser. So the coping and behavior is like the seesaw which we have experienced in our life. So if the coping skills are at the top, the problem appears lot lesser. So that is what is. If the problem is small, coping is faster. Some are better to address their own, some are good coping skills. If the problem is huge, serious, coping skills drop. Once counseled, people regain coping skills because what they go through is catharsis. They feel so much lighter. People who come to us say at the end of that 1 hour talk, they say, sir, I feel so much lighter today. Whatever was bothering me, I've shared with you. That's it. Sometimes they just do that, they go. We don't discuss further. We don't have a solution. But they say, sir, I feel better. I think I can manage. Thank you so much for just listening to us. I don't know how many of you remember, how many of you come from a joint family. Earlier days when we had joint families, all of us would have our family doctor. The family doctor was a physician. If you have some medical problem, he would come and talk to you. More than the medicines, he will ask you, how is uncle doing? How is father doing? How is your sister doing? Are you able to manage everybody well? He is basically counseling you indirectly by asking you all these questions so that you can share that if you have any kind of emotional problem with any of them, if you have any kind of a relationship issue with any of the family members, he's basically wanting you to talk and share. And since he knows the family dynamics well, he will indirectly not give you advice. He'll say, your dad is a great man, but his anger, he doesn't mean it. So, indirectly telling you, don't have a grudge against your father because he's shouting at you. But he's a person of soft heart. His anger is only for your good. He doesn't tell you in direct terms, but indirectly he's giving you so many hints of saying, this is how he is, Now here we have a very interesting feelings. So when I told you understand and label your feelings, we have 7 categories of feelings: happy, surprised, bad, fearful, angry, disgusted, sad. Against each of them, there is different intensity. If I feel sad, I might feel isolated. I might feel ashamed. I might have grief. I can feel sad because of a grief. I can feel sad because I've done something wrong. I'm ashamed about it. Or I feel guilty. So it is very important when you have this feeling, the degree of feeling is important. If you're feeling ashamed, that is more powerful feeling than saying I'm hurt. Are you getting what I'm saying? It's very, very important. So when we experience feeling, we need to be relating to the level of the intensity of the feeling we are experiencing. It's like I am shocked is different from I am confused. Sometimes, you have 2 choices, you don't know which one to take, and you feel very confused. And that is when you talk to someone and say, then you can tell them what are the pros and cons about each, and let them decide based on their life situation what they would like to take. So many of us go in this confused state and not know which career to take, whether to do MS or whether to take a job or whether to write GATE and do MTech or to do MBA. So we are very confused. Especially, I am also a faculty at Keshav Memorial Institute of Technology, where I handle the finishing school. And one of the things I keep addressing my students is career options. And they say, sir, should I take up a job or should I go and do MS or should I do MBA? Things like that. So it's important we label our feelings well. Great. Now, this is the example I told you about Rahul already. Yeah. So great. Self-esteem. What do you think self-esteem is? Can anyone tell me what is self-esteem? Anyone? Hello, am I there? Am I there? Are we disconnected?
Thinking of ourselves.
Thinking of ourselves. Okay. Okay. What do you feel about yourself? Very good. Excellent. Okay, great. Now look at this very simple image. There is this cat which sees itself in the mirror and it says, oh, look, I look like a tiger. So self-esteem relates to how do you see yourself. Self-esteem relates to image of yourself by you. And believe me, most of the problems which people face in adulthood is because of their low self-esteem, which is what they have experienced in their childhood. So when we talk about self-esteem, how do you see yourself? Do you see yourself as a person who is respected, who is loved, who is confident? Or do you see yourself as a person with low self-esteem who would feel you are useless, you're good for nothing? And what are the causes of self-esteem? Let's spend some time. The reason being, many of us, without our realization, make such statements which cause the child to develop low self-esteem. I'll give a very simple example. There are these parents of a family who are very critical. If the child comes home and he says, look, dad, I came second in the class, they'll say, waste, you are a waste. If you come second, what will you do? You have to come first, nothing but first. Or if the child says, look, I got 80 in math, he'll say, 80? Math is a subject, you should score 100. I've been telling you not to spend time watching TV, play all those games. And those friends of yours who you're meeting every evening, they're useless people. Don't waste time with them. Instead, spend time study math. You do better in life. So the critical parent is always criticizing the child. And as a result of that criticism, the child starts believing the parent. And what happens? He thinks that parents, what they are saying is true. And he starts believing himself that he is good for nothing. He cannot achieve anything in life and so on. That is a belief which he has got in his mind. Now, over a period of time, he grows up, he goes to college. He is not able to form good relationship because he is afraid of failures. He is not able to make decisions because he is not given that empowerment where he is told that you can't do anything on your own. So he cannot make this, he cannot take decisions. He is afraid of failures. He is afraid of forming relationships. All that is what happens in a child who is brought up in this world with low self-esteem. And many a times the parents, we as parents are responsible because we make such statements without realizing. There is the other family, extreme. There's other very positive family. The same child comes to home and says, look, I came second. He said, wow, we're so proud of you. Excellent. Wow, it calls for a treat. When the child says, I got 80 in math, the parent will say, wonderful, great. Do you think you can improve? Do you think there is scope for improvement? And the child says, yeah, you know what happened, Dad? I made some 2 or 3 very silly mistakes, and I'll promise you next time it will not happen. So what is the parent doing? The parent is only encouraging the child and saying, look, you have done wonderful, but there is always scope for you to improve without telling you that you need to improve, So what does the child believe? The child understands that, yeah, it's okay to fail. I'm okay to fail. Nobody is very critical about it. So when the child grows up, he starts taking responsibility. He starts, taking decisions. Some of them will work, some of them will not work. But he will not blame himself because he knows it's okay. Everything is not going to work. He forms a relationship. The relationship breaks. He's able to cope up. And then he works on a new relationship. He works on a new career. He works on new business. Some of them will fail. Some of them will work. But he has positive self-esteem. He feels good about himself. And he says, yeah, I think I am a capable guy. I'm a confident guy. I'm a respected individual. I love myself for all these qualities I have. I know what my limitations are. When I say healthy self-esteem does not mean that you have no limitations, but he accepts his positives, he accepts his negatives, and he knows it's okay. I am the way I am. That's it. I love myself the way I am. I don't have to prove anything for others. Others' opinions don't matter to me. I am beyond all that. So if your self-esteem depends on the opinion of others, you're in for a tough ride in your life without any control. So we don't want others to control our life and tell us what works. In fact, if you look at any family relationship, a relationship between friends, there are some very positive friends who have words of encouragement, and the others who would say, hey, don't even think of this business. It is something you can't do at all. They always put that word of discouragement, failure, even before you try things. So, you need to be knowing what works for you and be away from such negative folks. And so very, very important, guys. Self-esteem is one of the most important things which you would find in people. So most of the times when we talk about relationship, we find it is because of low self-esteem, they are not the same. So what is like when you wake up in the morning and look at yourself in the mirror, how do you see? You see, you're a very handsome guy, very beautiful person, a lot of positivity in you. Wow, what a wonderful day today. Look at the bright sunlight. Look at the trees around. And you get up with a lot of positivity, with a lot of gratitude to God, to everybody. Your day is obviously going to be good. Now, I'll give you an example. GPS. I need to visit, if I stay in Hyderabad, so I need to go from my place to, let's say, Film City. I've never been there, so I put on the Google Map and tell Google Map, take me to Film City. So I go about 10 kilometers, and then there is a direction told me, take a right turn. I was lost in my own thoughts. I was listening to some wonderful music. Instead of taking a right turn, I take a left turn. The Google Map, the GPS system is telling me to take a right turn, and I take a left turn. What do you think the GPS system would do? What do you think the GPS system would do in such a situation? Yeah, anybody? Okay, great. No answer, huh? The GPS system would reroute and it will give me a new path after I've taken a left turn. Isn't that what it will do? Do you agree? Guys, do you agree on that or not?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now imagine the GPS system is your critical parent. Critical parent, the first example I gave you. You'll say, what? Can't you follow instructions? It's telling you to take a right turn. What is wrong with you? Why are you not concentrating? You're always like this. I've always seen you do like this. Simple instructions you can't follow. And they're so critical. They can be abusive. They can put you down. Words of discouragement. Very, very important, self-esteem. Great. Now I'll give you another example. I love giving examples. I don't know if you guys like it, but that's my habit. You know, there is this philosophy class, and the teacher comes to the class and talks about philosophy. And what does the teacher says? The teacher holds a glass of water, and he would ask the students, how heavy do you think the glass is? So there are different answers from 200 grams to 600 grams. Different people give different answers. The teacher says the weight of the water in the glass does not matter. What matters is how long do you try to hold it. So that's a very, when I give a online, when I give a session in person, I do that experiment. I hold a glass with water and I ask the audience, how long can you hold it? I ask that, how long can you hold it? Some of them would say 5 minutes, some of them will say 1 hour, and so on. So if you hold the glass for a few minutes, the weight doesn't matter. If you hold the glass for 1 hour, you might have pain in the arm. But if you hold the glass for a day or more, your arm will get paralyzed. Similarly, are the stresses in our life. If you think about stress and worry, for a very short time, there is not much impact. If you think about the stress for a longer time, you start getting involved and it starts hurting you. It can make you dysfunctional of other things. And if you continue to think about stress all through, then you become dysfunctional, you get anxious, you might also get depressed. So what it means is you need to de-stress. If you're trying to solve a problem and if the problem is not getting solved, take a break, do something else, come back to it. And believe me, when you come back, you have a new perspective. You look at it from a different perspective and you might get a solution. So when I say come back, what do? You de-stress, do something else. Maybe take a walk, listen to some music, talk to someone, take a break. Don't keep thinking about it. And when you come back fresh, you will be able to better solve it. So stress is your body's reaction to a trigger, and it is generally short term. Stress is a response to daily pressures or a situation, while anxiety is a reaction to the stress. As a result of stress, we have behavioral symptoms. We are not normal. We get irritated. We feel tired. We have suppressed anger. We have difficulty making decisions. We are unable to concentrate. We are unable to think, and so on. There are also physical symptoms: lack of appetite, excessive craving. We are unable to sleep, insomnia. We have headaches. We are nauseated, indigestion problems, heartburn, or some other non-specific pain. So there is change in your behavior, there is change in your physical symptoms, and there is mental effect also, illness. You can get anxious, which over a period of time can make you depressive. You might have heart disease, you might feel fatigue, your immunity goes down, and so on. So stress, we all go through stress. The question is, are we able to cope up? Are we able to handle it? Are we able to accept it? Is important. So what is important is, this too shall pass. And I started with the pandemic, and again I'm repeating, this too shall pass. It is not an end, it is only a bend. Okay. Now, how do you manage We keep focusing on things which are beyond our control. Okay? Things which are in our control. How do I take care of myself? The amount of effort I put in, the words, the actions, how I treat others, whether or not I follow rules, how I handle feeling. All these are within you, guys. This the circle I'm showing you. All these are within us to manage. But things which are beyond our control, there is no point thinking about it and stressing out. Like what other people do, what other people think, what other people feel, the weather, what other people say, what other people's choices are. They are not in our control. If someone tells you something bad, and if you are like a sponge and you observe it, then you are, getting affected. But if someone tells you something bad and you know this is not what I am, then there's no point even thinking about it. Don't give too much importance to them. Don't give too much importance to what they say. And if you take it very personally and start getting affected, then everybody will start telling you things and you will not be able to manage. So that is why we need to understand, can I do something about this, or I cannot do something about it? If I cannot do something about it, let's not even think about it, because that is what is causing a lot of anxiety and stress. Are you there, sir? Everybody? We go through this all the time. Is it in my control or not? The way my neighbor behaves with me is not in my control. If he's being rude to me, that's his problem. Why should I get affected? If I've hurt him, yes, I will apologize and get over it. But if I've not said anything, and if he's getting nasty with me, that is his problem. He needs to be helped. He needs to be counseled. I would feel sorry for him and not get affected myself. So I'm going to give you another very interesting example. Please see the title. Filling the jar of life, rocks, pebbles, and sand. Okay. Again, there's a philosophy professor who stands before his class with a couple of items in his on his table. He starts the class. He picks up a large jar. He picks up a jar from the table and fills it with rocks which are 2 inches in size. And then he would ask the students, is the jar full? So I'm asking you, there's a jar I am holding and I'm filling till the top of the jar with all rocks which are 2 inches, and I'm asking you, is the jar full? So what is your answer? Is it full or not full? I fill it till the top of the jar. Guys, is it full or not full? Okay, shall I continue?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so no response. Okay. Then the professor shakes the jar and then he puts small pebbles, and the pebbles roll into the open areas between the rocks. So between the rocks, whatever is the empty space, the pebbles all fill in. Again, he would ask the students, is the jar full? Now what do you guys have to say? I put 2 inches rocks, I put pebbles, the pebbles fill in between the rocks, and is the jar full or not? What do you guys respond now? Full or not full? Okay. The professor then picks up sand and then pours it into the jar. The sand fills all the remaining small open areas till the top, and then the professor asks, is the jar full? Initially he put rocks, then he put small pebbles, and whatever little empty space was, he filled it with small fine sand. And now I'm asking you, is the jar full or not? What is your response? Come on, guys, respond. No right and wrong answer. The professor says, the students now say, which is what you're saying, the jar is full. All of them unanimously say the jar is full. So the professor says, yeah, you're right. The jar which I showed you is your life. The rocks which I put are the important things in your life, your family, your partner, your health, your children. Even if everything is lost in the life and only the rocks remain, your life would still be full. I repeat, the rocks are the things which matter the most: your family, your partner, your health, your children. The pebbles are like your job, your house, your car. When I said they matter the most, I was also including friends. The pebbles are like your job, your car, your house, the materialist things. The sand is everything else, the small stuff. So what is now the professor trying to say? If you take a jar and fill the jar with the sand first, then the jar will have no space for the pebbles or rocks. Which means if you fill your life with all things which are not important, which is the small stuff, then the things which matter to you don't have time for it. So it is like saying, prioritize your life, find out what is critical to your happiness, play with your children, spend time with your family, spend time with your spouse. Everything else can anyway come. But many of us are so lost in all the small things, and we keep fighting over the small things in our life, that we don't have time for things which really, really matter. So what is in our control is what we should focus on. What is not in our control, it will come, let it go. It'll come, let it go. Because there is no point worrying about it, which are not something you can ever fix it. If you're only going to worry about it, you're going to cause stress, which is not helping you. So how do we cope with stress? And everybody has different techniques. Sometimes we follow one technique, sometimes we follow different, sometimes we follow a combination. So yoga, meditation, which is deep breathing, prayer. A lot of people find solace in prayer. It's like in your prayer room, you keep a jar, box with a hole at the top, and then whatever is bothering you, put it in the box and tell God, God, take care of it. I put it in the right hands. Now, I'm not going to worry. I would let you address it. Practice mindfulness, being mindful, compassion, connect with friends, family, pets. Pets are a great stress buster for a lot of people. I'll talk about compassion, self-compassion. Many of us are very compassionate to others. If your friend is had an accident, or if your friend has done something wrong, or if your friend is in trouble, you would say, is okay, don't worry too much about it, we are there to help you, this will pass, give it some time. But if something happens to us, we get into the guilt, self-blame, because we are not having what is called self-compassion. If you are compassionate to yourself, you can say, yeah, it's okay, even I can make a mistake. So I should not be too hard on myself. I should not punish myself. I should let it go. If I can be compassionate with others and give them words of comfort and encouragement and solace, I should also be able to do that for myself when life throws such challenges. Exercise, walking, running, play sport, whatever works. Develop hobbies. These are all the things I was talking about, de-stressors. So everybody has different ways of de-stressing. Some people like to meet up with friends and talk. Some people like to go into meditation. Some people like to exercise. Some people like to get into the hobby which they are very passionate about. Whatever works, please have ways of de-stressing on a regular basis. If not anything, a 20 minutes of a walk is a great stress buster. Now you would say, in this pandemic, I can't go out. Sure, you can walk in the house. You can do yoga. You can do online fitness class. You can do a lot of things. You can, develop hobbies. You can read. You can paint. Whatever works for you. Okay? Now again, same thing. How do you manage anxiety? Exercise, journal. And there's another very interesting thing I want to share. A lot of it is similar, which is gratitude. I am a very, very strong believer of gratitude. And, every morning when I wake up, the first thing I do, most of the time, sometimes I forget because I'm in a rush, but I would say 95% of the times I do is while I'm on the bed, I put my hands towards my face, and I thank God for one more day and for keeping me alive. Because when you sleep in the night, there is no guarantee that you're going to wake up. So every day when you sleep, if you have got up the next day, be very, very thankful to God that you have one more day to live. And in the process, thank all the God for the good things. And believe me, this is something we practice with a lot of our callers who come to us, especially when people come to us and say, my child is not studying well, or I have a problem with my spouse. The first thing we tell them is write down all the good things about your child or all the good things about your spouse. So we ask them, create a 2-column page, good things and bad things. Come back to us after a week. And when they come back to us after a week, you will be very, very surprised. There are umpteen good things, and very few bad things. So that is because you make them think about gratitude. And when you have the gratitude, when you start worrying about small things, then you feel that, oh yeah, why am I worrying about it? I have so many good things in life. So why am I worrying about it and getting stressed? You get what I'm saying? It's very, very important. That is something we call the gratitude journal. If all of us create the gratitude journal and something worries you, you read the gratitude journal and you say, hey, this is something I should not be worrying. I have so many good things in life. Why am I worrying about this? If I lose this, fine, but I have so many other things now. So this is something you can just put it aside. As simple as that. And being gratitude for people, what they do for you, is very, very important. You always feel so good about that when you have gratitude. It just makes you feel so positive that I'm so thankful to God, or I'm so thankful to family for all they have done. And when something they do which is hurting you, the gratitude overshadows that, and you say, they have hurt me today, but they have done so many good things. And when I'm in trouble, I know these are the only people I can go out to, and they're there for me unconditionally anytime. So that feeling of comfort comes in. All the stresses which you're thinking, what will happen, who will take care, how will I manage, will vanish because you see suddenly this, gratitude of friends and family who are there for you. It just makes life so much easier, guys, believe me. Yeah, so you can create a journal, you have a practice gratitude, uh, create hobbies, identify unhelpful thoughts and challenge them. Like I was telling you, thoughts. So there will be thoughts which are negative, thoughts which are positive. Understand what those negative thoughts are. Don't let them go. Thoughts will keep coming. Yeah, and this is our website, Seva Counseling Center. This is my mobile number. So any of you would like to reach out to me, maybe if you would like to be a volunteer with our NGO, or you would like to share whatever you feel like, I'm available anytime with you guys. So I think we have 1 hour and 45 minutes. We started at 4:15. So I think we have another 15 minutes for question answers. So now I would like to take question answers, and I will share this slide presentation with the coordinator, and she will pass it to you. Let me put on the video. Yeah. So I'm done with my presentation. I am good to take questions. So if you guys have any questions, please feel free to share with me right now. I will try to answer whatever I can, and those I can't. I hope you guys found it interesting. There were some takeaways from this whole session. Yeah, guys, any questions, please? And if you think there is some question which you don't want to share now, I gave you my number. I'll show the number 94902. I'll type in the chat window, and you can take. I'll share that PPT. You can take it from the coordinator. Okay. Well, this is chat window.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for this informative session. And we hope we will be much benefited from this session. And participants, we have the morning session tomorrow at 10 o'clock, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, but no questions. I have 15 minutes, guys. If you have any questions or
If
any
any
comments,
questions, please ask. Yes.
yeah. I know it must have been a very tiring session. Last few days, last 4 days, from morning 10 to evening online.
No, sir, not
I
at
can
all.
understand.
Actually, it was quite different kind of session. So it is not of technical. So we should learn so many things out of this session.
Okay. Yeah. Any comments? Any questions? Please feel to ask me. If you think you don't have anything, I'm good. And guys, all of you have a wonderful life ahead. Stay safe, and thank you so much. If you have
Thank
questions,
you.
let's take it. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. No questions. Okay. Uh, Kindly share the feedback. Okay, that's for the participants. Okay. Thank you very much, and God bless you all. Bye.
Thank you, sir.